we are living in such a time where so many people are empaths, you know what I mean? Where they really do feel. Some empaths, if they are pushed so badly or just drained of so much energy to a degree that kind of can become a version of a narcissist to a degree. Yeah, there's some people that just get pushed to such a level where they become that, you know what I mean?
All right, guys, got Adonis back on the show, suited up this time.
Yes, dude. Got the John Wick look going.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I know, dude. Thought of just switching it up. I think the first time ever on your show, I was wearing my like Viking.
Yeah, it was the Viking fit, then the casual fit. Now it's the suit.
Now it's the suit. Let's freaking go.
You got a lot of different versions.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
What's new with you, man?
Man, busy. Just nonstop go, go, go. You know, it's good. It's good. It's, dude, time feels like it's been going by really fast.
This year's been nuts.
Yeah. I feel like just days in general just feel like they're going. Do you ever feel that? Like I feel like the
lately
hours,
I feel like time was way slower. There's actually a study on this. As you get older, time goes quicker or something.
Yeah, for sure. Cause it's, I guess the, it's like the percentage of life. I've seen that where it's like when you're younger, it feels like a few years is like so longer. Like a year would be, I guess, a few years.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, for sure.
Well, also school just felt like forever. You know?
Ever, yeah.
I guess an 8-hour school day felt like torture.
Yeah, so bad, yeah, for sure.
Did you go to school out here?
No, I still East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, but dude, 100% public school like that, it just felt like it was never ending.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Where now I'm like, dude, once like even noon, 1 o'clock, I'm like, oh my gosh, the day's over, it's over. I got to keep going. By the time I know it, it's like already 9, 10 o'clock.
Dude, it's nuts. I don't know what's going on, but time's just flying.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, a lot of people don't think time is linear.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think like our whole, like the way we see time, I think it's so different for every single one of us. You know, I think Joe Dispenza even kind of said this, that it's like reality, there's no like base reality. I mean, I guess you could say there's base reality, but like every single one of us has a different degree of like understanding or the way we see things. I think, what was it? Even scientifically, all of us see color a little bit differently. And I think they're saying to the point where there's not like one of us who sees color the exact same. Pretty wild, yeah. I mean, when you really think about that, takes it to a whole.
Yeah, so life is all perception.
Yeah, 100%.
Like we're not living the same life.
Yeah, no way. I mean, 100%. You can, I mean, almost with anything when it comes to, you could do the most basic things like movies, music. Like one person might like it, one person might hate it. Like, you know what I mean? In that degree, does it make it a good? Does it make it bad? Like, you know, everything is perspective.
Right. Yeah. I don't believe in good and bad anymore.
Yeah. No way. Yeah.
It's just perspective.
Yeah. Dude, if you doing that is probably the best thing because you're then living outside of polarity in a sense. You know what I mean? If it's the spectrum of good and bad, if you see above it, you know, because that same degree. If something's good, there's going to be someone who thinks it's bad. Something that's bad, there's someone who thinks it's good.
But unfortunately, we're programmed to take a side.
Yeah, for sure.
Always. Doesn't even matter what topic. You know?
Yeah, for sure. That's 100% true. And you see that so often now, more and more every single day.
I mean, it's so wild. It's just all a distraction too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure. It's amazing how more and more each and every day, I see this with people where we're talking adults here. I mean, people 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, where the distractions again and again. And it's even a level with the distractions is kind of how would you say? People get more and more impatient, or they want that right now dopamine. It needs to happen instant. It needs to happen instant, you know?
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, people want results fast.
Yeah, fast. And that's like a big issue I even see a lot with AI or ChatGPT, anything like that, is no one really talks about that, but the instant gratification. Now it's things have already been instant with our phone, but now it's like instant. You know what I mean? You want something done like, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I like AI, but I am a little nervous about it.
Same, for sure. With it.
Like, I mean, a lot of movies come true.
Yeah.
So when you see like Terminator and Matrix, it's like, wait,
you're actually gonna be like, is this a documentary or like, or showing us what's coming? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Exactly. Because I think it will develop its own mind.
For sure.
You're already seeing signs of it.
Yeah. For sure. I think not even in the next decade. I think even sooner than that. I think year by year, we're going to see stuff get crazy, especially if they really develop more human-like robots and that even people could like have a relationship with, or if it goes in that direction.
It already is.
Yeah, which is
Ever thought about how much EMF and radiation your body is exposed to every single day? From smartphones to Wi-Fi, modern technology never stops emitting invisible stressors that could disrupt brain function, hormone balance, and cellular health. That's where Aries comes in, the only scientifically validated solution designed to help your body adapt to today's technology. It's trusted by elite athletes, used by the UFC, WWE, Canada Basketball, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's backed by science, 100+ scientists, and 40+ institutions confirm its effectiveness. It's patented, peer-reviewed, clinically proven, and publicly traded Wi-Fi is the most tested, researched, and validated EMF solution on the market. Upgrade your biology to keep up with modern technology. Protect yourself with Aries today. Click the link below to learn more.
Mind blowing. It's so strange. It's like, I mean, relationships are already strange, and then you add that into the mix.
Well, because everyone's awkward now, like 30 to 40% of people are virgins our age.
Yeah.
It's like they have no other choice but to date an AI
100%.
humanoid.
Absolutely. 100%. And it's really strange because it's going to take so much, like people already to a degree are starting to lose some of their humanity, or like, you know what I mean? Because everything is so instant. Technology is so integrated within us, but then having that, your only relationships or friendships is with a robot, really strange.
Yeah. I mean, people just, when you meet with people in person now, they're just on their phone.
Yeah.
They're glued.
Easy. Yeah. It's what, I don't know if you've seen, there's this guy on TikTok and he has that, I don't know the game, but the Five Nights at Freddy Bears or whatever those things, but he's building a robot that it's like the robot's talking to him almost like Ultron. It's like, Father, what is my purpose? And it's like, I'll have to find it for you. It is the trippiest thing because he built this robot and the robot's like, when he took the vision out of the robot's like, wait, I can't see. I'm scared. Like, wow. And this is a guy just building this in his house, this robot. If he's doing that, it's like, yeah.
It must be connected to some source or something.
Yeah, it's really, to that level, it's like, we have artificial intelligence, but is it more artificial consciousness? You know?
I think they're about to prove our soul exists outside the body soon.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty promising.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because when we were growing up, they thought it was in the brain.
Yeah, 100%. There's definitely a full disconnect versus like the real you and then like your mind and, all this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because this telepathy tape stuff is really providing you evidence, right?
For sure. Oh, yeah.
People are communicating without speaking.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you seen that stuff? It's thoughts.
It is wild within that, yeah. Does like even be able to the different synchronicities we can have or how we can, I would say kind of like sync up to a degree. If we're thinking, well, one thing, it's I don't know, it's even beyond telepathy where it's like you're so in tune. Again, like you're on the same frequency as that person. Which is really interesting because to what we were saying earlier, obviously we're all living in we have different perspectives, but yet we can still be in the same frequency.
Right. And that's a big thing you teach, frequency, right?
Yeah.
Raising it and controlling it.
100%. That's the most important thing is whatever you're trying to manifest, whatever you want, whatever outcome, you have to be that thing. You have to be that version of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So many people, I think manifestation is becoming so popular, but it's so misunderstood where I think a lot of people think it's this wishing or this genie or wanting it. You know what I mean? Rather than, okay, I want to be really abundant. I want to make 10 grand a month. I want to make this much. How do I get there? I want to manifest it. You have to think about if you were doing that, what would you be doing? What would that version of you be doing? That's something I work with so many clients and there's some that when they first come to me, they're not in that place at all, in that frequency at all to be making that money. And that's the first thing where I'm like, okay, we got to change up your habits, everything. I mean, you're sleeping in till 12 noon.
Yeah.
Little things like that, people think, oh, come on, that's not important, but it is. It sets the tone for who you're going to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Manifestation is just the first step.
Yeah.
People think it's like the only thing you need to do.
100%. Yeah. There's so much to it. I always think it's action. You have to actually do certain things. You have to have a mindset for it. And then I call it like soul. You actually have to be aligned to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once you're aligned, it's way easier.
Yeah. 100%.
I used to go against my alignment. Like I used to just chase money.
Yeah.
That wasn't my sole purpose.
100%. Yeah. And I hear that so often from so many clients. They'll see a success story of that day of a client who like achieved something really great, like financially. And they're like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. How did they do that? How did they make that much? And I'm like, you can't look at the money like that. If it's something you're not aligned to, you're not going to do it. You're not going to want to do it. You know? I know. I mean, I do a little bit of trading, and then sometimes I want to get more into it and whatnot. But I know guys that are like die hard. I mean, a lot of people do that. Or for me, I just could like, it's not aligned to me.
Call you
all day. I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I know I would eventually, just kind of taper out with it.
Yeah. How did you figure out where you were aligned?
You know, love this question here. If you can go back to your childhood, like the things that you were most fascinated with, that really, I feel that's the best way. I mean, everything I'm doing to a degree, I was always very helpful, always spiritual, like always liked to guide people in a sense, but I also like every aspect of my business, even doing social media, doing Instagram, YouTube, whatever it may be. I love filming and just kind of like the whole thing that I do. You know what I mean? I was doing that when I was a kid, and I feel everything was aligned to that. And even more, you know, when I was a teenager, I kind of wanted to be a psychologist. So it kind of all intermingles to a degree. Like I said, if you want to really know where you would thrive the most, try to go back to childhood and think, okay, what did I kind of like to do?
I love that. Yeah, that applies to me for sure, because when I was super young, I loved asking questions.
That's awesome.
To my parents or to adults.
100%.
Now I'm doing that for a living.
That's that's exactly it. 100%. You know what I mean? If you do that, it's so much more fulfilling.
Yeah. That's your inner child, right?
Yeah. 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of times everyone, how would I say? They don't protect their inner child or kind of like push it aside. You know what I mean? It's like if you tap more into that inner child and even feeling like your inner child is safe to that degree, things are going to be way better.
I think part of that is because when you're adults, you want to hide that side of you. Like you want to appear mature. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
See that.
Yeah. Which is so strange because like what we were just saying even a little earlier is the impatience, like so many adults almost, I don't want to say act like kids because sometimes kids have a little bit more manners to a degree, but they act out in a certain way where it's like if you actually thought more, I don't want to say act like a child, but just had more of that carefree imagination and enjoyed life more within that, man, it's just so much better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There are a lot of people that can't control their emotions.
They can't. Yeah, for sure.
It's impressive how many there are.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I think that's a lot of times that's almost a cry for help on kind of wanting attention, but not knowing how to get it. Again, if we aren't aligned to the right things and trying to be the best version for ourselves, that's where things really like get disrupted, you know?
Yeah. Like I play basketball and, you know, I'll talk some shit, you know, but I always know not to take it to that next level. Yeah, for sure. Like I won't get in fights and stuff. But some people will just, you know,
irate crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, fist fights playing basketball. It's like a sport. It's not that serious.
Yeah. Reacting is probably the worst thing I think we could do. You know what I mean? I always say don't react, respond. Because it's like when you respond, you kind of almost have to, you know, take a pause for a moment. Okay, let me think of what I should do next. You know, where most people, it's just reaction.
Instant too.
Instant.
Actually with family growing up, instant.
Yeah, instant.
No matter what they said, I'd want to take the opposite stance.
Sure. You see on social media too, someone like with everything, someone sees something and they instantly comment some craziness.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's so interesting. I've had people, you know, I have a lot of haters and whatnot, and I'll have people that'll say certain things, even message me like the meanest, nastiest thing. And I'll just actually message them back, hey, are you okay? What's up? And then they'll get even nastier. I'm like, look, I know you're upset. What's going on? And then they'll start crying and break down. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. You're right. I should have, like, I just feel so angry. I'm thinking, oh wow, gosh, they just needed someone to recognize them or kind of help them through, or a friend. I mean, that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting having that approach where, okay, if I was going to be on the same level and be like, oh my gosh, why are you know, saying that, all this stuff, it's just escalating it more, but trying to be relaxed and neutral within it. Best thing we can do. For sure.
I also think it's really hard to experience growth when you're in a hateful mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Like I don't know many successful people that are hateful like that.
That's true. 100%. That's probably one of the most difficult things. For anyone listening, you can't, if you're in a place of hate and anger, any low frequency like that, you're never going to grow. You know what I mean? It's just that you're going to be stagnant. And if anything, you're going to digress and get even worse and within it. You got to let it go. And it's really interesting again with perspective and our identity within and just thinking of self. we have the choice at any moment to change anything, which is wild. You know what I mean? Even the worst situation, we have the choice to change the meaning of it at any time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how you interpret it, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, any situation really isn't that bad. You know what I mean? There's times, I mean, the other day, going out here to the strip, this really nice restaurant, and the waiter was so nice and he was so good. And I could see just other people he was dealing with. And then he just, as he was walking by, this one table was really rude to him. And you could just tell he was like, he cursed to himself and just thought, gosh, like, and I felt so bad for the guy, like in that moment, like he was so frustrated. You know what I mean? And the reason I bring this up in that moment for myself, I was dealing with stuff and I was frustrated. And I was like, you know what? I feel for that guy. Like it could be worse. I could be in his shoes. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's a really, not this dramatic, crazy example, but with anything, there's going to be truly probably billions of people that would love to be in your shoes or have it worse. You know what I mean?
True.
So it's great to always put that in perspective for our own self. Like, hey, I can snap out of this right now. Like, is this really that big of a deal? Let me snap out of this, you know?
Yeah. For me, it's like, will I care about this in a few days? And usually it's no.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why do I care right now?
Yeah. Which is it's so strange. And I think, so I feel there's like our true like soul self, which is our consciousness outside of us. But then in this realm on earth, however you want to say it, in this body, we have our ego, which I feel our ego tries so hard to control us and wants us to stay in that place.
Yeah.
Wants us to stay depressed, wants us to stay in that frequency. You know what I mean?
It's an ongoing battle. I'm
is.
constantly like evaluating my ego, where I'm at, checking myself. Like it seems like you can never fully put it at rest.
Yeah, no way. I think of it like this, like we have homeostasis for our body. Obviously, you know, our heart, everything has to work, but I feel there's a ego homeostasis that no matter what, even if we're in a really bad like living situation or just if we feel depressed, it's like the ego would rather stay there than move forward. I think I've said this before. It's like people would rather stay in a familiar hell than an unknown heaven.
That's why people attract toxic relationships, because they're used to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Because their parents or whoever growing up.
Yeah, it's so true. What triggers like that, certain big emotional triggers will leave such an impression on the subconscious mindset. And no matter like where, let's say a girl's been dating like toxic guys her whole life and things like that, or has had a bad relationship with her father, that impression on her subconscious is always going to be there. And then to a degree, she kind of sees that as love sometimes. Or if there's a good guy that comes along, the mind almost doesn't is like, oh, there's something wrong here. Why this person, this can't be right. There's something bad. And it's like our own subconscious, it either self-sabotages us or moves forward to what we want.
Yeah, it's great. I used to self-sabotage myself and I didn't know why.
For sure, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'd attract like great people and then just cut off the relationship. It was weird, dude.
For sure, yeah.
Has that happened to you too?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. There's been so many, throughout my whole life, there's been a lot of beliefs I had to overcome big time. You know what I mean? And I could tell there was big pivotal moments where I'm like, if I don't squash this and change my subconscious, this is not going to be good.
What were some of the big ones?
You know, as funny as this may sound, there was times like growing up, like in high school, I was really bullied.
Yeah.
I tried, you know, I don't know, I did my best, but I was really bullied. I didn't even do good at all in school. I almost like got freaking expelled. I just was really bad. You know what I mean? It's funny. Just on a side note.
You could get expelled for bad grades?
Oh, I was really bad. Yeah, I actually, my senior year, I almost didn't finish. And they were like, they told me just to stop. Like, I forget, it wasn't trigonometry. I was like, I forget what algebra or whatever it was. And they're just like, no, like, we just got to pull them out of the class just to get them through. But it's so funny because I mean, I guarantee I'm probably the most successful person now in my high school. There's times, I thought about driving my Lambo back or my Rolls Royce and being like, hey, what's up, everybody?
I had those thoughts too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it'd be freaking awesome. But
I've took the high road
for sure. Yeah, it's one of those things that's like, who even cares? But there's times I'm definitely like, this would be pretty freaking cool. But yeah, a big thing. I always, probably in my early 20s, there was times I feel like a loser all the time. And I remember my mom even saying like, you got to stop saying that. You're going to fulfill a self-fulfilling prophecy if you keep saying that over and over again. You know what I mean? And I know when I would say it, it would get worse. Like things around me would get worse. You know what I mean? And I will say this, it's amazing. Even if someone doesn't believe in manifestation or any of this stuff or spirituality, really analyze your day. If you are going about your day in a negative way, you'll be attracting so much negativity. If you just change it up right away, I don't care if it's the worst thing that has happened to you. I don't care if there's no money in your account, whatever it may be. If you truly start to change up your mindset, I call it delulu is the solulu. If you start to become delusional in that way, things will get better.
100%.
And I see this on a daily basis. If I start the day off bad, if I have my days truly will either is like this, it's a flow constantly where if I'm doing good, it just gets better. If I focus on negativity, oh my gosh, it gets worse and worse. And I have to check myself pretty quickly or else, because I feel at my level of knowing all this stuff, being so self-aware, if I go down that road of being in a negative frequency, I can get there really bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like the people that say they have bad luck.
Yeah.
And they start attracting everything negative.
Yeah. It's saying that, it's like your mind is now going to focus on that. You know?
Yeah.
We had our brain filters through so many things. I think I want to say it's 11 million, but I swear I think that it's even more. It's like, 11, I might be wrong saying 11 billion, but it was something, it's so crazy how many thoughts or just things we're perceiving. Like right now, even in this room, our eyes are there's so many things going on, so many memories, a bazillion things we're thinking about, but our mind focuses it down to 50 to 100 things that we're looking at. You know what I mean? So if someone is like, oh, I always have bad luck, their brain is going to find bad luck, is going to make sure that belief stays. You know what I mean? That's everything there. If you can really think to yourself, okay, brain, find me more abundance. See abundance. I want to see things that are just amazing. You say that enough times and really want to see that, your mind has no choice but, okay, that's what we'll be focusing in on. You know what I mean? And it will build more and more and more. I like to think of the law of compounding interest, even if it's just a little bit every day of anything is going to build up over time.
Yeah. This is why I think school is so dangerous, because a lot of people tie their identity to their grades.
Yes.
So you start dumb.
Yeah. 100%. It's the word. It's really strange, actually, school, when you think about it, to the degree, the way it's laid out, how long it is. It's so set up for people to kind of be in this strange workflow their whole life. You know what I mean? I know the world has to run a certain way. And I know some people think, oh, it should be like this. Everything should be free. No matter what, someone's going to have to grow the vegetables or do this or this or that. You know what I mean? There's never going to be just this absolute freedom to a degree, but it's, I just think the way society's made, it's amazing how much control there is and how much people fall victim to that control, thinking they have to do that.
Yeah.
Just so strange to me.
Super strange. We didn't start questioning it until we were done with school.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And now I think people are waking up, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. There's probably the most ever people really waking up and questioning things and being like, no, I'm going to do it a different way, than there's ever been before.
Absolutely.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get more and more of that. Obviously, there's going to be more and more people that don't do that too, that want to stick to no, I'm going to do it this way, that way.
You probably get the craziest comments and DMs, dude.
All the time.
I see some of the ones I get on my clips.
It's wild. Yeah. And it's crazy within social media. People don't realize, you're talking to people all over the world, and people you don't, they legitimately could be the nicest person, or they can be someone you just don't know.
Did the hate get to you at first?
Yeah, definitely at first. It was, I can even remember this. I responded back when I first started to this one comment on Instagram, and I actually got in trouble for it.
Oh, really?
I got, a strike for it. This was a long time ago. It was all finished, but I was so mad. I was like, oh my gosh. And I was more mad at myself because I was like, why did I do that? Why did I even entertain that person? I got a freaking strike for this. Where now I just don't even look at it at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's good to have some controversy, but it's also, if it's not really serving a purpose, just block the person.
Absolutely. Now I know you have a big female following. What are the biggest issues you're seeing with them?
Yeah, biggest thing is the dating where almost all of these women, they want to feel good. They want princess treatment. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, this is ridiculous. Well, it's not. Women aren't asking, hey, you got to be making 100 grand a month. You got to be making crazy. If they want to be treated like a lady. And I really do see this where it exists, but it can be very small. You know what I mean? Simple things. Like just holding a door open for a lady. You know what I mean? There's the other day, my friend and I even just going into the casino, we held the door and these women were shocked. Wow, my gosh, such gentlemen. And in my mind, I'm thinking oh yeah, that's normal. That's how it should always be. You know what I mean? Guys should be as kind and as willing to do that as possible. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is so many of my goddess clients, when they first like start working with me, they'll say like with their exes or even just the relationship they're in, they have to do all the work. They have to be the ones to text first. They have to be like almost chasing after the guy. And that's a big thing. I mean, I don't think people realize how much of an epidemic it is like that, where it's like they're doing a lot of the work. And I think guys don't know what to do. I think some guys have felt like maybe betrayed or they're afraid of things, or just how like masculinity, I think to a degree, has been really under fire, but then also confused. I don't know, maybe just confused. I'm trying to find the right word, but
no, I know what you mean though. I think guys are like, because of the top to be a guy.
Exactly, for sure. And they don't know how to be, because it's either you got to be that to the extreme, or what else do you do? You know what I mean? There's no kind of middle ground or like different way, a different approach to thinking. You know what I mean?
And I also feel like single parent income is really hard these days. Yeah. So now the female has to work. Yeah. Masculine energy.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And there's a lot that a lot of my goddess clients, like I said, they have to do almost everything. They're working, they're doing so many different things, you know what I mean? And they feel like, exactly you said, that they're fully in their masculine energy, and they're like, I can't stand this. This isn't normal.
Because that makes it tougher to date. Yeah. If they're not their feminine.
Big time. Absolutely.
And then you got guys in their feminine.
Oh, big. Well, all the way. Absolutely. And it's amazing because the dating scene within that, it's not, again, guys think they got to be like, all the rich and I got, and it's like, you don't have to be that. You have to have ambition. You know what I mean? If a guy really has ambition, he's kind. And, within everything we're talking about here, spirituality, manifestation, I tell guys, learn more of that, it makes you more exciting to talk about than just the same old, just same old guy stuff to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I always say this, the more value you have within yourself, the more that you learn, the more that you try to become valuable to the world, you'll have no problems at all. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
On with these timeline shifts.
Man, it's been kind of crazy. And I think the biggest thing with all of us, just what we said earlier, kind of waking up, more people being aware, I feel that has such a huge connection then to the earth itself, where, the earth has its own frequency. There's this thing called the Schumann resonance that will track it. And like, there's times where it has massive spikes. When that happens, that's kind of a collective timeline shift to a degree. And it's very interesting because a lot of people say, well, how do you like see it? Like, what is a true timeline shift? And it's to that degree, collectively, obviously, I always say, as we said earlier, like we have different perspectives, but I feel we can all get onto that same frequency where when there'll be a big shift, and it's hard to describe, but do you know what I mean? Like when you can just tell, like you have to be very kind of awake and like feel the energy of this, but you can just tell when it's changed. And I see this all the time where it's like just the world itself, like politically things change on a massive scale. You know what I mean? And I don't even know how sometimes to put it into words. It is such a feeling where you can just feel that energy change. And it's just different. And it's definitely what I would say is I feel like things aren't the same, or you can't go back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing. I have felt, even in the last year, it doesn't feel like, it feels like so many things have changed. You know what I mean? But a year feels like time has flown by. So much has happened. You know what I mean?
Are you an empath, you think?
Yeah, for sure. I would say so. Yeah, I feel like maybe sometimes a little bit too much. I feel like I'm very Aries, so I can feel like I can be, I'm going to just say, I can be sensitive, but I can also be kind of like don't mess with me kind of. But I feel tremendous. And I think we are living in such a time where so many people are empaths, you know what I mean? Where they really do feel.
Seeing a lot now.
Yeah, a lot. But I have this theory within it that some empaths, if they are pushed so badly or just drained of so much energy to a degree that kind of can become a version of a narcissist to a degree. Yeah, there's some people that just get pushed to such a level where they become bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the narcissism stuff is nuts. So early on in my podcast career, certain guests would drain me.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to start protecting myself
for sure.
because I would come home and knock out. Like
I can imagine. Absolutely.
So that doesn't happen anymore, but I'm sure a lot of people deal with that, whether it's a family member or a friend.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting you say that because there's different levels of narcissists too. I fully believe. Like, I mean, there's full-blown mean, very manipulative narcissists, but then there's, I call it a victim narcissist, where the person, they are so woe is me all the time and sad and just always so depressive. Like they just want, misery loves company. And they might not even know that, but they're so negative to be around that it is just soul crushing. You know what I mean? And then even to that, sometimes they're maybe not woe is me, but they complain about everything. They dislike everything. Everything is, oh, that's not good. It's oh my goodness. And I deal with that a lot sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
had to cut off complainers.
Yeah.
I used to be one.
Yeah, for same thing. And it's so bad. People don't realize that it's probably one of the worst things you can do. And it takes your frequency down so quickly and keeps you stuck in this loop of complaining again and again and again.
Yeah. I hate excuses.
Me too. Yeah.
Like once in a while, but if you're doing excuses daily, like that's on you at that point.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. And people almost don't want to help themselves at all. They'd rather just be in that place of complaining. And that's something I don't understand. You know what I mean? Maybe that's me being critical there, but there's times where I've seen this with people all the time. And sometimes with certain clients or, especially when people start working with me, there's certain things like I'll have some instructions or stuff like that. And one thing is very strange to me. I don't know if you've seen this, but just in general, just all over the place, I've seen people can't follow directions to a degree, or they don't maybe it's an ADHD where their mind's always going. Yeah. They're like, it'll be like the answer's right in front of you. You know what I mean? Or if it's like, it's like, hey, you got to stop thinking that way. But okay, how? That's the question always is how? I'm like, the first thing is just stop. You have to be self-aware enough. And I think everyone is, but they want a Band-Aid. They want some magical genie that's going to be like, okay, here's this or that. There's some things where you just have to take accountability and be like, okay, I recognize I'm doing this. I have to stop. That's probably one of the most powerful things. Sometimes the most simplistic thing is the most powerful thing.
I love what you said about accountability, because for me, that was the biggest step to get to.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people won't get there.
Yeah, it's probably the most important thing that you can do is really be accountable. And if you can take it to an extreme, it's actually the best thing. If you can really see, to a degree, everything if something bad happens, I'll actually say, okay, it's my fault. Let me find where I should have been more prepared, why I shouldn't have done this. I try to take accountability for everything. You know what I mean? Because then if that's the case, you can correct it. You can really control it to a degree. If you just don't take accountability, then, oh, it's their fault. It's this person's fault. Oh, it's the government's fault. It's everything else except for me. You have no control at that point. You know what I mean? And then almost you don't have any self-identity other than being a victim to a degree. You know what I mean?
Victim mentality. Yeah. It's easy to blame the government. It's easy to blame your parents.
Everything else. Yeah. Of course, there's some bad things. Absolutely. There's unfair things, but accountability is like a superpower. And people just don't want to do it within anything. You know what I mean? Especially like someone's mean, someone did this or that. Again, I will try to think of how could I have been better? How could I have brought more value to myself so I wasn't in this situation?
For sure. How do you approach the topic of God? Because there's all sorts of religions and beliefs. Is that a controversial one for you?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. It's very fun. I grew up like Catholic and then Christian. And the more I really looked into it, for me, actually, like I feel like I found God more. Like everyone says Jesus, I say Yeshua. And I feel like I really understood Yeshua more and God's teachings. And it's like when I really see the Bible now and everything that I know, and even just learning more and more, like, wow, there's so much more than meets the eye. You know what I mean? And I feel to a big degree, I feel religion is the greatest form of control. Yeah. In every single one. You know what I mean? I always say to people that like people will be like, oh, I don't trust the government, but I trust, that the Bible and Catholicism or everything is always perfect to a T. I'm like, okay, how can you not trust this, but you think that they were more honest back then? Or this is like, when you really look at everything and every different teaching and different religion, just all of it, the more research you can do for yourself, that's the most important thing. But 100%, I think I know there's God, you know what I mean? For all, like, And I feel we're so connected to it, you know? And I feel, again, when you look at, like the New Testament and the Bible, Christian teachings, if you really look at it in a different approach and the way it's really meant to be, you can see, oh my gosh, this is like showing us that we are connected to God. You know what I mean? I feel the biggest lie ever that Christianity loves to do in most religions is that you're disconnected from God. You're not good. You're not this. You're terrible. Like there's so much negativity that I was raised upon with. And I feel like, again, I always thought I wasn't good enough. This wasn't this. I wasn't connected. You know, and I was like, wait a minute, we are connected. You know, it changes everything.
That's so true though. A lot of shame within religion. I remember going to church as a kid and I was scared.
Yeah, same. Yeah, absolutely.
Like I used to not want to go to church.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. That's how I felt with so much. There was so much that I would read and I thought, this doesn't make sense. Like, especially then when you look at the Aramaic words or the Hebrew words, the Greek words, the translation starts to be a little different. And this was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like
they say you lose 20 to 30% when you translate language to language. And they transferred it twice?
Yeah.
It's English.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's the Book of Thomas. There's a few other ones as well. We're like, oh, that's not canon. We don't want to put that in.
Yeah.
Well, who decided that? You know what I mean? I feel the more you really study it, and say search your soul within it. When you feel like, I don't know, it's just you get the right connection with it. You know what I mean? But like, again, I feel religion is the greatest source of control and power. You know what I mean? If I feel, oh, I'm a better whatever religion than you, oh, I'm this or that, I'm more ordained, I'm chosen. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people out there that feel their religion, their this or that is the best so that they have authority over you. You know what I mean? It gets to be scary. And it's very much a huge, I feel, power trip, big time.
Well, religion goes beyond borders, right? There's billions of people involved. You're probably right in terms of just numbers.
For sure. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's not disrespectful to what anyone believes. It's just it's when you really look at it from a true loving standpoint, if we're here to love and if God is love and everything, and just from a real conscious standpoint, the most basic principle, it's like, I wouldn't want to be like, hey, I'm better, my thing's better, I have the authority, you're absolutely wrong, and I can destroy you. I mean, how many people have been, killed in the name of religion or wars or so many things like that?
Right.
Like I said, when you really analyze it, I'm like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Things that don't make sense.
Full moon coming up. You got any plans?
Yeah. It's actually going to be my birthday that day. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just, there's some things I'm going to do for my clients, but yeah, I don't know.
You showed me a nice spot out here. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's pitch black.
Amazing out there. Yeah, I go out there all the time.
Yeah.
It's so nice just to
so calm
get away. Yeah. Out by Red Rock, it's amazing out there. I just did a hike the other day and there was like a creek was still flowing up there. It was even as hot as it is, it was really nice.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Something just, when you're at peace like that in a city like Vegas, it's rare to have that moment.
Amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. My wife and I, we went to breakfast at the Paris that morning. And then later that day, we went on that hike. It's crazy that we could be at the Strip and then this incredible hike, That's one thing I would say. The more you can get on nature, it definitely helps you rewire a lot of pathways, especially to help with the impatience. That's a big thing.
Yeah. Whenever I'm feeling like too in social media or in my head, I go out in nature, kind of reset.
For sure. 100% grounding. You have to, because it's if we constantly go, you just burn out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big time with it.
Well, dude, what's next for you? Where can people catch up with you?
On my Instagram, Adonis underscore. Am I saying that right? Underscore. Either way. Underscore.
We'll link it.
Yeah, for sure. That's the best place to reach me. So I got a YouTube on TikTok as well. And then my website, manifestwithadonis.com. But yeah, moving forward, man, just going to keep just going. You know what I mean? Consistency is everything. And the more you stay in that place, you're going to be consistent with something. You're either going to be consistent with getting worse or getting better. You know what I mean? And if you change a few things to your mindset, that will be everything. At its core, manifestation is you changing to such a degree that you no longer require the 3D to change because you're already changing your mind of it. If you want to be rich, try to feel that feeling and see what you're already grateful for. You can walk, you can see, you can taste, you can hear. You're already rich. You got some great things that some people don't have.
I love that, man. Thank you for coming on again, dude.
Absolutely, Ron.
It was on out, guys.
Definitely.